Hi there, this is Martha Fraser, and today I'm joined by Greg Muller, who is a fitness and holistic health practitioner, uh, a very good expert in his field, and he's also the managing director of Pure Athlete. So, welcome, Greg.
Thank you, Martha.
And thanks for joining us today.
No problems.
So I just wanted to talk to you about, I suppose, from an exercise point of view, anyone who's making a life change and they're deciding what exercise they should do. Everyone is into something different, and a lot of my clients, they would, I tell them to do exercise maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Pick something that you like so that you keep doing it. But if they're choosing an exercise, what's an important thing maybe to think about?
Well, I think the first thing is got to get into the foundations. Like health requires working in a number of areas, not only exercise but nutrition, mind health, a number of areas. So that's important. So you get the foundations in place, and then a good point you just made there was making sure that they pick something they enjoy doing, because if it becomes laborious or they don't enjoy it, then it's obviously difficult. And there's so many things to choose from, whether it's playing some sort of sport, going for a walk up mountains, or getting into an exercise like martial arts or anything. They all have their place. The only thing I would say is try to vary those activities. Not just do one or even two. And what I teach a lot of the people I work with is to continue challenge the body, because the body adapts very quickly.
Okay.
And when it adapts, what happens is you might get short-term gains over maybe 4 to 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden it plateaus out. So by continuing to challenge the body, you get a lot greater benefits, and your health and your physical capabilities will be a lot better.
Okay, I guess that's why a lot of people, they drop out of gyms, isn't it? They kind of get bored, really, or maybe they're not applying it correctly. They're not applying going to the gym, maybe interacting with the gym.
Yeah, well, there's another part to that, and it's discipline. At the end of the day, a lot of this comes back to a philosophical question: what is it you really want? If you really want health, then the desire for having health has got to be bigger than the desire not to have it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, saying you want something is one step, but actually doing it is another one.
Yeah, and it's making that connection.
That's right, and that's why, like, picking something you at least enjoy, there's a much better chance you're going to do it.
Even if it's salsa or just moving.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, like what you said earlier when we were talking, the 7 key movements that you spoke about. Salsa would be great as part of your movement regime.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's the thing to think about it. It doesn't have to be one thing, like you just said. So can you talk to us a little bit about those 7 key movements?
Yeah, well, if you look at how humans evolved and, what we were required to do when we didn't have the modern comforts of we now have in modern living.
Yeah.
We had to go out and fetch our own food, fetch our own firewood, and cut down trees and things like that. We didn't have all those tools and machines to do that for us. So essentially, if we weren't able to do these 7 movements, then it would put us at risk. Because as in those early days, it was more about survival. And so those basic movements would be squatting. That's deep squatting, and you'll find a lot of people really struggle to do a movement like that, because the seated workstation, like sitting in a computer, is the #1 workplace in the world now.
Yeah.
So that's affecting people's postures and their ability, their ability to move, but also their joints and their ligaments, their muscles all start to glue up. I mean, that's a simple term of what's actually happening. So squatting is one, because we used to go to the toilet by squatting. Simply, we didn't have toilets, and even for bowel health and stuff like that,
it's actually recommended, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, because we're not getting into the right positions. The second one would be lunging. So that's almost like walking, but it's a deeper lunge, that pattern. So that would be like stepping over something and going into a deep lunge. Bending, so bending down, pushing, pulling, twisting, and the last one is gait, which comprises of walking, jogging, and running, because they all change.
Okay.
But we can't do those 7 things fluidly or without having significant problems, then we've certainly got problems in terms of our own health.
Okay. So I guess how to apply these then is, I suppose, you could recommend maybe just in the morning do a couple of squats, do a couple of lunges, just whatever you. I mean, a lot of people are into running now, and I know myself when I used to run a lot. Sometimes you get narrow vision. You just go, right, I'm just running. That's all I'm doing. I'm running, and like what you're saying, your body just becomes locked into this one mode of exercise. And I mean, I did stretch a little bit, but I think there's a lot of runners out there that probably don't stretch enough before and after. So would you recommend, how long would you recommend for stretching before and after exercise?
Stretching, well, the way I'd answer that is like this: is first of all, like a running activity. Whilst in the 70s and 80s it got promoted as being really healthy and stuff like that, and it does if you're completely sedentary, it will add some benefits to just moving. Is obviously healthy, but it's very one-dimensional.
Yes.
So in terms of actual overall health, it doesn't actually improve things that much.
Okay.
Because like I said, you should be able to move in all planes. So one-dimensional plane is not that healthy. Okay. In terms of your stretching, the question you asked on stretching, there's some fascinating research on that. Okay. And what they found is if you can cross your arms and then stand up and then cross your legs over and sit down without touching the floor, or if you have to touch the floor, that's okay. And then stand back up again. Now, that's very difficult to do.
That is really difficult. So cross your arms.
Cross your arms.
Cross your legs.
Cross your legs.
And
sit down on the floor without letting any other limb touch the floor.
Wow. Okay.
And do the same coming back up again. They found that significantly, the researchers said that it will significantly improve quality of life, but it also is related to how long you live.
Right.
Now, okay. the reason I say that is because like stretching or looking after the body is important. Like I said earlier, the gluing up of joints, right, which happens because we have these sedentary lifestyles, right, have a huge impact on your quality of life,
right,
and also your ability to participate in life fully.
Okay. Yeah.
So by making sure that you're able to move in all dimensions.
Okay.
It brings health about to overall health.
Overall health. Yeah. So I guess the key message then from today is basically to review your exercise regime and to vary it, and to try and include those 7 key movements. So squatting, lunging, bending, pushing, pulling, twisting, and gait. For pushing and pulling, push-ups.
Push-ups fine. Or you could you can use a weight. It doesn't have to be. You can use a ball or something and push that away from your body. It's that movement.
Yes.
So again, it's not in one plane. So push-ups one activity, but pushing can be done in different planes.
Okay.
In different ways.
Okay.
But what I would say also with those 7 movements is it's really good to do what I use the terminology of big bang exercises.
Okay.
So like if someone's given a program and they look at it and it's going to take them an hour 20 to do, or even an hour, they straight away go, oh geez, and they might have the motivation for the first couple of weeks to do it, and all of a sudden it's like, other things coming up.
Yeah.
So if you can do, like you mentioned, early in the morning or sometime during the day, just said to yourself, I can commit 5 to 10 minutes to this.
Yes.
With a big bang exercise, you can get a lot done, and you can even start to reduce your weight by doing that. And the big bang exercise that will include squatting and pushing, and bending would be what I call a squat, push, press. So all you do is put your hands directly below your body, between your legs.
Yeah.
You squat down.
Yeah.
So they touch the ground. Now, if you can't touch the ground, well, then just go as low as you can.
Yeah.
Right, and then stand up, and then push to a full extension, and push your hands above your head. Right.
Oh yeah.
And repeat that 10 times.
Okay.
And maybe do anything between 3 to 8, maybe even 10 sets of that.
Okay.
And that wouldn't take you that long. It'd take you less than 10 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
And drink lots of water, and I tell you, you'll
feel it.
You'll feel it.
Yeah.
But that's a big bang exercise, because what's happening in a big bang exercise is you're using all the muscles in the body.
Yes. Okay.
See, as opposed to just doing a bicep curl, which is very isolated.
Very isolated.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a big bang exercise. Okay, that's a new term for me. Yeah. So I'm a firm believer in what I call the prototype day. So trying to make every day a prototype of your ideal day. So just kind of give you, so basically, say for me, it would be my ideal day would maybe get up early, do some exercise, do some yoga, do some juicing before my kids wake up, get the kids ready, blah, 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 eat well during the day, breathe well during the day, and generally just have an overall very healthy day, what I would describe as my ideal day. So I say to clients, write down what is your prototype day. If you had one day to live perfectly, how would you do it? Because sometimes I feel we often think, yeah, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to run a marathon, and you're over there, you're in the future, and I think if you just, I suppose it's the phrase, look after the pennies and the pounds look after themselves. If you just look after today, don't think about, I want to be this fit, I want to be this slim, I want to have these muscles, I want to feel this good. If you just look after today, so in today, do your big bang exercise and do your squatting, bring those exercises in today and not thinking about tomorrow or whenever, and just enjoy them and actually be in the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I suppose I try to say to people is just live in today and live in your exercise. And I was on a website the other day and I came across this guy and he was trying to say to people to fall in love with the feeling of exercise, because often exercise can be a mental, oh my God, I have to do this exercise, and they think of it as work and it puts them off it. Whereas actually from your talk that we're at, where you were talking about change your perspective, so I guess that kind of applies here. So change your perspective on exercise. Don't think of it as work, but think of the feeling of exercise and how you'll feel after it and how good your body will feel. And I suppose to remake new associations with exercise. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. I think it goes back to the desire again. Like, what is it you ultimately want, and are you prepared to pay the price to get that?
Yeah.
Because often we put these things off. Like I was speaking about in my talk, it's called hyperbolic discounting, where we take the short-term gain rather than go for the long-term strategy.
Yes.
And the people who are able to do that are the most successful people in the world. In anything. The other thing, what I use is similar to your protocol, is the hour of power.
Hour of power.
And now, I think the thing is take small bites, because it's better to be doing 10 minutes of exercise or 5 minutes of exercise or breathing exercises or whatever a day, rather than trying to do them 1 hour twice every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The benefit you'll get out of it doing something regularly, as opposed to trying to cram it all into one session every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's completely off. So the hour of power, and I call it because the hour of power, it's nice terminology and it fits nicely.
Exactly.
But it could be 15 minutes.
Okay.
So you break it down of 5 minutes of exercise, 5 minutes of meditation, or it could be yoga or something that's relaxing. So it's a chi building exercise.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last one is 5 minutes of study. So that's for the mind.
And what would that involve?
That be reading a book or watching a DVD, which is uplifting, but also encouraging you to learn, to expand your mind.
Okay.
Now, like I said, it's an hour of power, so that would normally be 20 minutes, but I start my clients off at least 5 minutes. So you can give me 15 minutes, and within 6 weeks your life will be changed, because you're reading new things, and I give them a list of books to read and say, like, read these books, and then doing your meditation or your chi building exercises and your exercise. And once you start to feel the benefits of it, you'll build it up. Jesus, I can do this for a whole hour. It's no problem.
Exactly.
And it becomes habitual.
So that's a great way, actually, because I think some of my clients will say they might be slow to get started, or they may not have started the exercise yet. Like everyone else, they'll put it off. So that is a great. So hour of power. Start with 15 minutes, 5 minutes of exercise, 5 minutes of yoga or meditation, or anything that will calm you, and 5 minutes of study. And I think that was a really good point that you mentioned at your talk about expanding your viewpoint, and because often we can get stagnated in our own lives, and it's only when we open open our eyes to see what other people are doing that it enlightens us and grows us as a person, you know. So that's great advice. So if you haven't got started on your exercise regime, I think there's some great advice from Greg today. So start with 15 minutes. Everyone has 15 minutes, and if you don't have 15 minutes, you need to look at your schedule and make time for yourself and prioritize yourself in your day. So yeah, so I think that's enough to get everyone started, Greg. So thanks very
Okay,
much.
no problems.
And so Greg is from Pure Athlete. You can find him on Pure Athlete, pure-athlete.com. Okay, thank you.